Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the bottom of Breed's Neck. I have with me the new 2023 KTM 390 Adventure, and the big highlight of this new model is spoked wheels. In fact, it's the only adventure bike in this class to have spoked wheels. And what do spoked wheels do? Well, they're supposed to make the wheels stronger. So I thought I'd go dash up Breed's Neck and see if I can break them. People tell me I'll be very good at testing wheels because I'm so fast. Breed's Neck is a rocky climb up the notorious Magaliesberg mountain, and a challenge for even little plastic bikes. An adventure bike, even a small one, should find this tricky. Would the new 125,000 Rand 390 be up to it? We shall find out. But first, some technology.
Now before we start, let's do a bit of housekeeping. That is a TFT dash. It is the only TFT dash available in this range, in this class of motorcycles. So the KTM 390 is the only one. None of the other sort of 300, 400, whatever they're called classes have that. It's also got some electronicals. So for example, if you look over there, it says the ride mode's on the street, the ABS is on road, MTC, motorcycle traction control is on. That's not good enough. We go to, first of all, it says ride mode. We go there. We put it down to off-road. Yeah. Okay, ABS. We're going to put it in off-road. That means it turns off the rear traction control. This is the only bike in this class that can turn off the rear traction control. It's the only one that's got, or ABS, sorry. It's the only one that's got traction control, which we shall now turn off. Wait. Close throttle, twist grip, keep pressed. Okay, there we go. Now that that's all done, we can ride. Let's go. Okay, first little obstacle. Man, it's slippery over the step up. Oh, there we go. Hey, up we go. Oh. Bumpy. And slippery, and slippery, and slippery. Jeez, like. Hey, we're over. And judging by the way, I'm not wobbling all over the place. I'm presuming the wheels are still intact. That's good news.
Like its predecessors, the 23 390 is thumped along by a 373cc single, pushing an admirable 44 horsepower and 37 Nm of torque. In general, it's jolly good, except for one little problem.
This has a little single-cylinder engine, but it's one of those ones that cuts out pretty easily. So if you get it to very low revs, it'll go gah and just stop. As singles sometimes do. This is a problem if you're sort of a bit of a beginner and you're coming along some of these sections here, like some of the obstacles here, first gear, low speed. The answer is to get it a bit faster so that you don't go too slow so the motor cuts out. But you can't go faster because you're terrified because it's all bumpy and scary and all sorts of stuff. So the motor cuts out exactly where you don't want it to. That's not great. Apart from that, this motor is fantastic. I'm sure it's a bit quieter than it used to be. It feels quieter. Maybe that's Euro 12 or whatever they're on now. Look at all these sharp rocks. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's slippery. Listen to that wheel spin. Little motor revving up.
And the spinning part is quite a big deal. The other models in this class either don't have traction control or it can't be turned off. So the 390 has a gap on them there. The only annoying part is the slight nanny aspect whereby every time you turn off the motor, even while leaving the ignition on, the traction control turns itself back on. Still, even with it on, it's not terribly interfering. Of course, all things that get moving will eventually need to stop, preferably using brakes.
There we go. These brakes, by Brembo they're called. Ugh. Terrific. They're not expensive like Brembos, but they work very well. There's a lot of know-how in them. Oh, this is slippery. I mean, I love the big 1290s, but I think they would have a problem, moving. Something like this. There we go, up the hill. Little stones, off we go.
The frame on the 390 is your typical KTM steel trellis arrangement, painted in a striking orange, because Austrians have a sense of humour. The suspension is by WP, but not quite their top shelf stuff, and that's okay.
The suspension on this bike, it's not I mean, it's not the most sophisticated we've ever had. However, if they did put sophisticated suspension on here, it would probably up the price by what, 40,000 easily. Suspension can be ridiculously expensive. However, it's pretty good. It's got two little adjustment dials on the top of the forks, which you probably have no idea what they do. It's fine, but they look good and they make you look good. Another interesting point, this bike is pretty low to the ground. Something, a point I keep pointing out a lot. I mean, little bash plate took a little bit of a knock there. But low to the ground means I can touch the floor easier, and that's so important. That's one of my big banes against enduro bikes and why I struggle to ride enduro, apart from all lack of talent and being a bit of a scaredy pants. I can't touch the ground, so you get stuck somewhere on a rock and you just wobble a bit and then fall over. Meantime, the tall people put their feet down and go, oh gosh, and then carry on. Oh, there's a lot of loose, really hard rocks. Come on, go over them, Donovan, fast. We've got to test this motorcycle. You're not tired, it's all in the brain. Your muscles are lying to you. There's no such thing as tired. Must ride on. These are very loose rocks. Yeah. So touching the floor adds a lot of confidence. As does the fact that this thing is so light. I mean, all the bikes in this class feel light. This one maybe a little bit more so. I don't know, we'll have to put them all together and have a look.
More specifically, the 390 weighs 172 kilogram with all life-giving fluids on board. And that is a good number in this class. It does make my mission of breaking wheels a tad trickier though.
Ow! That was a bit painful still. Well, I don't think we've smashed the wheel yet. Mind you, the ground is so loose and wobbly, you wouldn't know. You honestly wouldn't know if you had. Okay, here's a big pipe. Maybe I could break a wheel on this pipe. Okay, first gear. No. There are people who consider this to be an enduro route. In other words, not made for adventure bikes. I'm defying them all. Haha. Me and the 390.
With catastrophe so far being averted, we stopped at Ronnie's house for a cup of tea. Got to adapt, you know. Load shedding. And the fact that this place's electrics were gutted 20 years ago, but after the tea break, it was time for a little 390 introspection.
Okay, things I don't like about this bike, it's the only bike that's got both a TFT dash and a quick shifter in this class. Saying that, neither of them are very good. I mean, in terms of like global TFTs, this dash is a bit small. I think it's a second-hand dash, or I think it was a 1050 or something. So it's not the biggest, not the best. And this quick shifter, it's a little bit clunky. Sometimes it doesn't want to work so good. I find that every now and again I'm having to tap off instead of use the quick shifter, which is problematic. However, as I said, your alternative is none of the above. And I'd much rather have a quick shifter, both-way quick shifter. In fact, like this thing has, that's not perfect, then none at all.
While we may not be able to complain about the technology, the state of the road was becoming a bit taxing.
I don't remember the past being this bad. Hey, I'm using second gear. Isn't that fun? Hey, upness has stopped. There's no more upness, only downness. I guess that means we're at the top. We are at the top. Yes. Well, not quite. We've got to go up that way.
After a short ride and a little bit more upness, we reached the top.
There we go. I think we're at the top. Well, put it this way. If I keep going straight, I'm going to go downhill extremely quickly. I'm exhausted. That was a little bit stressful, but I'm here.
There we go. Top of Brett's Neck on a 390. Looks fine. there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. You can indeed ride up places like Breed's Neck like a complete idiot and not break the new spoked wheels on the KTM 390. That's a win.